Hey guys, and welcome back to Zedra Does Crypto. I really appreciate your support from watching the channel. We just hit over 1,000 subscribers. Yay! Mini party! Now I know I don't think we'll be popping bottles just yet, but it is a milestone and our next goal is to hit 5,000. So with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate it. Now, on to today's video. And today's topic is, can Bitcoin go to 380,000? I believe it can, but before we look at that, I want to show you what inspired me to do this video, and that is Facebook. So here's my Facebook page where I posted a short video promoting my YouTube channel, Zedra Does Crypto. And as I scrolled through the comments, and most were positive, but I was amazed at some of the comments that some people wrote that were just so uninformed. You know when someone posts something negative on your social media and you get a little irritated over it? But after I sat there for a minute, I realized that I used to have those same opinions, but I didn't even know what I was talking about. Until I put the thousands of hours in studying and researching, investing, losing, and gaining in the crypto space to where I can sit there and say that the people that make these comments are just not informed. Which is fine because that's why I made this YouTube channel in the first place. To help people who had the same mindset that I used to have before I started getting into it. And not just in the crypto space, but any endeavor in life. So my point is to not have a negative mindset going into it, but to keep an open mind and allow the facts to lead you to a logical conclusion. Now, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus or call anyone out, but I just want to touch base on a few comments that inspired this video. And hopefully this is small enough to where you guys can't see their names. So for example, so-and-so says, cryptocurrency is now dead. It is the best way to lose money. Good times of these investments are gone. Another one reads, the trick is timing it right, but it's so volatile and no rhyme or reason why it goes up or down. Now I could see myself saying this at one point because it does seem that way at times. Where this guy goes straight to the point. Cryptocurrency is worth dog shit. Don't go there. And another one said, wow, you're a little late, Zedra. Another one reads, real estate is the best investment. And lastly, good luck. So as I'm reading these comments, I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing the upward trend and I'm seeing the momentum. So where is this thought process coming from when there's only one set of facts? This space is still growing, and not just in price action, but in the technology itself. I'm seeing the upcoming regulation and the adoption of the technology in the entire financial realm. Two people equally informed seldom disagree. The problem I see is linear thinking. For example, thinking when it goes down, it'll continue to go down, or when it goes up, it'll fly forever. But there are patterns and ups and downs and cycles to everything in life, just like seasons, like how's there summer, fall, winter, and spring. Every year at this time, it gets extremely windy. That's so it blows the seeds off the trees. Then it rains for a while and waters those seeds. Then the sun shines and everything starts to grow. And that's a cycle that continues year after year for thousands of years. There are cycles in everything. And Bitcoin is no exception. So let's take a look. All right, here we are on CoinMarketCap. I want to try to determine if Bitcoin is dead, dying, or late to the party, should have invested in real estate, or is Bitcoin going to 380,000 and beyond? Let's see. Looking at the 24-hour volume, which is the amount traded, we're at $45 billion in 24 hours. Now to put this in perspective, some months ago, this was below 4 billion. That's a 10-fold factor in volume. That's 322 billion in a week. That's 1.3 trillion, and that's with a T, in a month, and 15 trillion a year in volume. That's government numbers. Does that sound like something that's dying? Now, volume's just a small piece of the pie, but let's go to Fiat Leak so we can get a live visual and see how much is being traded per minute. This is Fiat Leak. You can find it at fiatleak.com, and it gives you a visual representation of the amount of Bitcoin that's being traded per minute. These are the different countries that you see traded down here at the bottom. You see the US dollar, euro, yen, Australian dollar, and so forth. And over here is the amount of Bitcoin being traded on the different exchanges. And as you can see, it's moving so fast, you can't even read it. You can see most of it's being poured in from the United States, but that's because at the filming of this video today, the other half of the world is still in bed, or should be. But you can clearly see it's being traded from all over the world, even though it's 4, 5, or 6 o'clock in the morning in other countries. It's quite a compelling argument for the volume of the Bitcoin case. Now let's take a look at the cycles of Bitcoin and what causes it. Here we are on the Bitcoin halving countdown. Every 4 years, approximately, the block rewards for mining Bitcoin gets cut in half, which obviously cuts the supply in half, which in turn affects the price. So if you take a look here, in approximately 82 days, the 12.5 Bitcoin reward will drop to 6.25, affecting supply. And if you remember anything from basic economics class, when there's high demand, which I just showed you on Fiat Leak, and low supply, there's only one thing that can happen. Price goes up. And there's a lot I can say about the Bitcoin mining and halving process, but I don't want to get deep into the weeds here. I'm just trying to lay out a case for Bitcoin reaching 380,000. So we've covered the volume, we've covered the supply. Now let's see how 4 year cycles appear on a chart, so it may give you a better picture of what I'm trying to show you. Here we are on TradingView on the BLX chart, which is a liquid index for Bitcoin. This is a logarithmic chart, which basically gets a long-term chart on one page, because with Bitcoin, it's off the charts. So for example, this sells for less than a penny, then up here it sells for 20,000. That just goes to show you the scale of the chart. And over here is the price, and it grows exponentially. As you can see, I have a few red lines, and these red lines are the Bitcoin halvings, which once again take place approximately every 4 years. And as you can see, we're almost there in about 82 days. A lot of people think it just goes up and down for no rhyme and reason, but let's go back and see what patterns we can pick up from looking at this chart. Back at the Genesis block, the reward on January 3rd of 2009 was 50 Bitcoin. Now, this chart only goes back to 2010, but you'll get an idea of what happens to price. So back here, it was trading for less than a penny. And at our first halving on November of 2012, when the block reward was cut in half, it went to $13. That's a 125,000% return. Then 1 year later from that halving, we had a high of $1,175. That's a 10,000% return. So the price went from $13 to $1,173 in just 1 year. So let's go to the second halving. The block reward was then cut in half again to 12.5. So let's see what happened to the price after this halving. After I did a measured move where the price at the time was $489, in just a little over a year, it went up to 20,000, which is over a 4,000% return. Which then leads us into the last halving, which is what we're about to head into, which will then cut the block reward down to 6.25. The price is still yet to be determined, but do you see a pattern here? Now that we've covered volumes, supply, and cycles, let's transition into trends. This graph looks like a bunch of lines going up and down, but if we add in a trend line, maybe it'll help us see if there's a pattern. After I put this trend line here, you can now see the resistance and the support. This is almost 10 years of data. So the resistance is the price trying to break through. Boom. Then rejected. Boom. Then rejected. Then breaks resistance and boom, it takes off. And when the price comes back down, the resistance now becomes support and has developed this long-term trend line. And as you can see, it follows support almost exactly over the last 7 years. So by looking at this, it's a seemingly predictable pattern. Now, if we were to extend this trend line out, this is how we come to the conclusion about future prices. Now, it doesn't always mean that this is going to happen, and I'm not a fortune teller, but with 10 years of data, it's pretty difficult to ignore. Now, if we were to add a trend line at the top, it gives you an idea of the channel that Bitcoin will probably trade in based on the 10 years of data. Because of the halving, Bitcoin moves in 4-year cycles. So if we were to measure from the all-time high to the next all-time high, you will see that they are almost 4 years apart. This one landed in December of 2017. So that should put the next all-time high in December of 2021, based on the previous cycle. So let's see what this fractal looks like if we were to copy it and overlay it into this cycle and see if we can come to some type of conclusion. I mean, it fits right into this channel we predicted almost perfectly. And look how close it follows the support. It's crazy. It goes right up the trend line like it knew it was going to be there. And where does that put the price in December of 2021? $380,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I know the conclusion that I can get from this kind of information. And that is by December of 2021, Bitcoin will at least be $380,000, based off my humble opinion. Again, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I hope you guys can see how I came to the conclusion of Bitcoin being $380,000 by December of 2021. And I hope you start to pick up on that this doesn't just happen for no rhyme or reason, that there is a pattern and a cycle to investing. And with 10 years of data, it's almost impossible to ignore the long-term trend to where you can predict what the future may hold. So that's it, guys, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the content, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So we'll see you next time on Alex Zedra Does Crypto.